Governor Ron DeSantis, now that he has dropped out of I've got to suspend my official presidential campaign in order to focus on the good people of Florida, has gone back to doing some decent governing in Florida. I haven't heard from him for a minute, but then again, that was the entirety of his campaign because you heard more from his surrogates that made you just not like DeSantis. But that's well litigated territory, so he better enjoy his last few years in the limelight because it's just going to be fucking head gigs for the rest of his career, unless of course Rick Scott decides to retire and he just wants to take token rhino Senate seat. But whatever, man, he could, follow in the steps of Mitt Romney and carpetbag to somewhere else. But Governor Ron DeSantis signs a bill banning children under the age of 14 using social media. Now, that's interesting, man, because I could really see both sides of this argument, okay? Well, it's good that kids are not on social media. Now, this bill, okay, if you're not going to watch the entire video, it's not going to take effect until the beginning of 2025. So if you're 14, even though there's nobody in my demographics that's under the age of like 18, very few teenagers, more or less, my age and older, and I'm very thankful for that. But we've talked about, keeping kids off of social media, and that's the best way to, if you want to take a look at the content that's online, something actionable that you can do about this is, getting kids off of social media. It's a definite good step, but this is also another one of those situations where you could take a look at the slippery slope argument where, okay, today you're looking after kids, tomorrow, are we going down the road of restrictive content? Are we going down, hate speech laws? Is that what we're going to be doing here? I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm of two minds, like I said at the beginning. I think that it's a good thing, and Ron DeSantis, when he's being a good governor, there's very few better. I'm just saying, well, I think that Ron has the best intentions for Floridians in mind. Does that necessarily mean the next person or other people that are going to ape these laws have that same type of good faith for the American people in mind? It's tough, man. It's really tough. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signed a bill Monday banning children under the age of 14 from having social media accounts in a move he claims will give parents more power to protect their kids. The law would allow 14, 15-year-olds to use platforms such as TikTok and Instagram if they have permission from their parents. I don't know how you enforce this, but it's not bad so far. Not bad. 116 Floridians can have and use social media freely under the new law. That's fine. Okay, you can get a learner's permit. Hell, if you can learn how to drive. Oh, no, right. 14, you can get a learner's permit. Sorry, it's been a long time since I've had to do that. But yeah, if you can drive a car, hey man, you can use social media. Seems fair. Nationwide, this law could be one of the most strict bans on social media use for minors. Even though there's, tacit age limits in app stores when it comes to these platforms, Ron's just asking them to abide by them. I think there is like 12 or 13 for some of the for some of the platforms, for some of the apps, but how they skirt by those is totally beyond me. The law puts the onus on social media companies to enforce the ban, and failure to do so could result in damages anywhere between 10 and 50K. That's okay. I would put it on these single mothers that aren't raising these kids properly, but hey man, that's just me. Like I said, I'm never going to be God Emperor of the world because, oh boy, things would change. Legislation also requires apps and websites to verify age, either from the user or anonymously through a third party. Yeah, that's where it gets very, very tricky, because now you're forcing these social media companies, which I don't trust as far as I can throw. You're trusting them with data collection from individuals and also from verifiable minors, from 16-year-olds. That's, like I said, how are you going to enforce this? That's interesting. And then even still, okay, then you're just having another layer of government protection over the top of it. And according to Ronald Reagan, what are the 9 most pernicious words in the English language? Hey Nancy, what time's lunch? My slippers, I can't find them. No, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. Previously, DeSantis vetoed a version of the bill that would ban anybody under the age of 16 from social media platforms regardless of parental consent. He then worked out a compromise with a Florida House Speaker, Paul Renner, and amended the age limits. I think that's fair. I think 14, 15 with parental consent is fine. And then 16, hey man, just go whatever you want. You could argue for 18, but I mean, if you look at other ages of consent, gross and delicate of a conversation as that could be, it's probably the line in the sand that you can draw. Social media harms children in a variety of ways, DeSantis said upon signing the bill. HB 3 gives parents a greater ability to protect their children. Privacy campaigners have criticized the legislation, claiming it will mean any Floridian will need an ID to access the internet, even if they are over the age of 16. Yeah, see, that's my problem. That's my caveat, where I'm just worried how slippery and how steep is this slope. Crackdown comes as Congress is also planning to push through a bill that would essentially ban TikTok from the United States App Store, which, yeah, I'm very much against, because if you think it's just going to stop with TikTok because of the dissemination of bad information being pushed by the CCP, you should take a look at who's actually behind that TikTok ban. Ding, 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 ding. And what they would be coming for next if they weren't also pushing the laws and the restrictions that certain lobby groups, ding, 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 are advocating for. Lawmakers want TikTok divested from the Asian country as ways to ensure U.S. data is not compromised by the Chinese Communist Party, but they're more than willing to let Meta, Google, Apple, Sony, all of the other major big tech companies and technology firms, just leak information all willy-nilly and never hold them accountable. But the CCP is the big problem. If they want their information, they can get it. The House voted through this month the proposal that would scrub TikTok from the U.S. app stores, and the Senate is now considering the same bill. Yeah, and how bipartisan this has been going through, that should also raise big red flags, not of the Chinese Communist Party variety. Other states have considered laws similar to the ones DeSantis signed on Monday. A federal judge in Arkansas blocked in August the enforcement of a law that would require parental consent for minors to create new social media accounts. For years, Governor DeSantis has promoted his policies in Florida, claiming that his state leads the nation in empowering parents and protecting children. Which, yeah, for as many quabbles and quims as I had when it came to DeSantis as a presidential candidate this time around, I'm ultimately glad that he did, because it really exposed his true character. When it comes to him being a governor, like I said at the top, he's really good at doing that. Yeah, his track record when it comes to a big state governor kind of seems to be undefeated. Many claim, that his policies are more harmful to at-risk youths. Yeah, at-risk youths, and not the ones who identify on the rainbow spectrum, but rather those have been indoctrinated to be on the rainbow spectrum, and have accused the governor of trying to ban books that cover certain sensitive materials. Yeah, have you seen some of those books that he's trying to do away with? I would just go out there and say, if you wouldn't even put those up in a bookstore where leaving would require them to be put into a paper bag, they're probably not the type of books and reading material that you would want in a public library. Just saying. There are concerns that this new law, while wearing the face of child protection, could actually strip parents of their right to decide whether or not the children can have social media accounts under the age of 14. I don't know why you would want your kids to have social media accounts under the age of 14, but I'm sure there's probably some single mom that's out there just saying, I need to communicate with my kids on Facebook. I need to communicate with my kids to use the messenger. Your broke ass can probably get food stamps or, EBT to sign up with Sprint or some shit like that. So just, save me the dramatics. The latest law would go into effect January 1st, 2025, and is meant as a way to protect children from harmful people and materials online, which, yeah, exactly. For all the kvetching that goes on online from certain lobbyist groups, God, the harmful effects that certain language can have online. It's like, okay, cool. If you're wanting to talk about the, the most protected classes that are out there, that's children. Ron DeSantis just simply signed a bill that would go ahead and take care of any of those concerns that you might have. But like I said, and like many people have pointed out, where's the beginning? Where's the beginning of this? Okay, where does this ultimately begin, as we can see, with trying to protect kids? But when was the last time that we've seen a bill from the government using the guise in the protection of children ever just stop right there? When has safety ever been sold by the government as a good thing in the long term? All right, you can't point to a specific example, but hey, the Patriot Act was just about ensuring that everybody was patriotic in the aftermath of 9/11, right? Thanks to Governor DeSantis' signature, Florida leads the way in protecting children online as states across the country fight to address these dangers. Beyond banning those under the age of 14 having their own consent to social media, and under 16 doing so without parental consent, HB 3 requires websites to use age verification to prevent minors from accessing such content. Well, that's probably good as well, but there you can see just the slippery slope that we're getting. It's like, okay, cool. It's very agreeable. Don't have kids use social media. Don't have kids have access to, the most popular content on the internet. But where does it stop? Where does it start with other provisions being taken up? Which other groups need to be protected as much as children? Like I said, right now I'm fine with it. It's just, where does it go from here with somebody who doesn't have the best faith, doesn't have the best intentions for the country at large in mind? But we're not there yet, so we can't really extrapolate all that far. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.